Jason disappeared for 485 days without a single clue or trace of his whereabouts. His story carries many lessons, the most important being the value of listening to parental advice, and even more crucially, the importance of choosing the right life partner. 2012, the beginning of the story. Jason Wilkins was a young, ambitious man who grew up in a respectable family in Chicago, Illinois. His parents, Richard and Susan Wilkins, did everything they could to ensure his success. He studied diligently, graduated from college, and started looking for a job to build his future and prepare for what he considered the most important step in his life: marriage. During this time, his parents supported him at every step, offering guidance and helping him stay on the right path. One day, Jason met a friend who introduced him to his sister, Megan Carson, a beautiful young woman from a family with modest financial means. However, the difference between their families wasn't just financial. There were many social and lifestyle differences. A marriage against all advice. Despite everything, Jason was captivated by Megan and decided to marry her. When he brought up the subject with his parents, they visited her family's home in Southside Chicago. However, after the visit, Richard and Susan strongly opposed the marriage. They felt uneasy about both Megan and her family and urged Jason to reconsider his decision. They were confident that he would listen to their advice. But unfortunately, Megan had an overwhelming influence on him. Ignoring all warnings, Jason went ahead with the wedding plans. A troubled marriage. Megan's family welcomed Jason with open arms, making him feel like they cared about him more than anyone else. His father had prepared a fully furnished apartment in Lincoln Park for him to move into after the wedding, but Jason suddenly changed his mind. Instead, he decided to rent a small apartment in Southside, closer to Megan's family. His parents tried everything to dissuade him from this decision, but he seemed completely under Megan's control, following her lead without question. Even when his parents refused to attend the wedding, Megan's family did not care and proceeded with the ceremony without them. A new life, full of problems. Jason's life changed drastically after the wedding. Despite his actions, his father remained in touch with him, secretly helping him financially without his mother knowing, as she was deeply hurt by Jason's choices. Their marriage lasted 5 years, during which they had 2 children. Jason worked hard and saved money, in investing in gold for the future and entrusting all his savings to Megan. A mysterious disappearance. In March 2017, Jason left home around 5 p.m. with his 2 children, dropping them off at Megan's parents' house. Before leaving, he told his father that he was heading to North Side to check out a new car he wanted to buy. He was carrying a large sum of money for the down payment. 2 hours later, his phone was turned off, and he vanished without a trace. His father tried calling him repeatedly, but his phone remained unreachable. Concerned, he called Megan, who reassured him that Jason had gone to see the car and would return soon. Hours passed. Then at 5 a.m., Megan knocked on Jason's parents' door in a state of panic, saying he had not come home. Searching for Jason, Richard, growing more worried, took Megan with him and started searching for Jason. They drove along different roads, checked hospitals, and looked for any sign of a car accident. Megan appeared devastated, even posting a plea on Facebook asking for information about her missing husband. After exhausting all options, Richard and Megan went to the police department, where investigators began looking into the case. Jason had no enemies, and his parents were well known for their good reputation in the community. Even after questioning Megan, there was no apparent motive for foul play, and her behavior did not raise suspicion at the time. A sudden shift in behavior. 2 weeks after Jason's disappearance, Megan's attitude changed completely. She began talking negatively about Jason, suggesting that he might have left her for another woman. She even accused his family of knowing about it, claiming they had been against the marriage from the start. Shortly after, she took her children and moved back to her parents' house. Months passed, and still there was no sign of Jason. Then 6 months later, Richard discovered something shocking. Jason had signed a general power of attorney, granting Megan full control over his assets. She had already sold his car and emptied his savings. Even the gold Jason had been saving for years was gone. Later, Richard found court documents revealing that Megan had filed for divorce 2 months before Jason disappeared and had also filed a lawsuit claiming he failed to return her belongings. Despite Jason's absence and inability to sign anything, she had managed to finalize the divorce. Uncovering the crime. A year after Jason's disappearance, Suspicions surrounded Megan when detectives discovered that she was preparing to marry her cousin, Ethan Collins. After placing them both under surveillance, the investigators uncovered a long-term secret affair between Megan and Ethan, dating back years before Jason disappeared. Ethan was brought in for questioning, and he immediately showed signs of nervousness. Then Megan was also interrogated. She broke down and confessed everything. The cold-blooded murder. Megan admitted that she and Ethan had been in a relationship for years. Ethan had convinced her to manipulate Jason into giving her control over his finances. Then, they plotted to kill him. She provided Ethan with Jason's movements for the day, ensuring that he would be carrying a large sum of money. Ethan and a friend waited for Jason on a remote highway near North Side. Pretending to run into him by chance, Ethan offered him a ride. Once they reached a deserted area, Ethan started an argument about Megan. Jason became furious when he realized Ethan knew personal details about his marriage. At that moment, Ethan revealed the truth. He had been having an affair with Megan and planned to marry her. Jason lost his temper and tried to attack Ethan, but Ethan was prepared. He grabbed a large rock and struck Jason on the head, killing him instantly. They then buried his body in a hole Ethan had dug days earlier. The entire crime took less than 10 minutes. Afterward, Ethan called Megan and told her, "It's done. Justice prevails." For 485 days, the crime remained hidden, but justice finally caught up with them. 2 days before Megan and Ethan's wedding, they were both arrested, along with Ethan's accomplice. The police exhumed Jason's remains, and forensic analysis confirmed every detail of their confession. It was also discovered that Megan's mother had known about the plan, although she had believed it was only to frame Jason for financial gain, not to murder him. Lessons to learn. Jason's story carries many valuable lessons. Listening to your parents' advice is crucial, and choosing the right life partner is one of the most critical decisions one can make. May Jason Wilkins rest in peace, and may his story serve as a warning to all.